I'm so excited to welcome everyone visiting the New York State Senate chambers today from Fort Drum. We're here to honor the remarkable efforts of every man and woman stationed at Fort Drum and serving the 10th Mountain Division. For 40 years, and I almost said 30, but time's going by very fast, for 40 years, Fort Drum has been the proud home of the 10th Mountain Division, one of the most deployed and distinguished divisions in the United States Army. The best of our best are armed, have come through this installation. Today, we pay tribute to their vital contributions to our national defense and their continued bravery. After the September 11th attacks, which shook not just New York and our entire nation, the soldiers of the 10th Mountain Division displayed extraordinary courage, and our state will always be grateful for the role that they played. Fort Drum is not only a symbol of military excellence, but also a cornerstone of Northern New York's economy, serving as the region's largest employer and supporting the livelihoods of thousands of active duty family members. And my husband, who many of you know, was in the military, he was in the Army, stationed at Fort Carson, different set of mountains. We had an opportunity to visit Fort Drum. And truly, it was about close to 10 years after he actually completed his own military service. But it reminded both of us of how important it is where you're stationed and the community that you develop and you build. And I know how important Fort Drum is to that community and the connections that you make. Truly, I have to say, I think constantly as I look at the young faces up here, my goal as the chair of the Veterans Committee is to make sure you want to call New York home at the end of this, when you are able to rest, when you are able to take your boots off and find a place where you want to plant your seeds. My goal will always be to make sure that New York is a place that you want to call home. We want to make sure we're constantly doing everything for our veterans, for our military families. And I'm especially grateful today that among our visitors from Fort Drum, we have Sergeant Briones. If you could stand up, go ahead. Sergeant Briones was born and raised in Coney Island, Brooklyn, which I have the pleasure of representing. And it was so wonderful to catch up with you here today, learn more about your family, and to see the career that you're on. So thank you so much for being here with us. Please have a seat. The 33,000 soldiers and family members of Fort Drum are more than just service members. They're our neighbors, co-workers, classmates, and friends. As someone from a military family, I do understand the challenges of deployments and how difficult it can be to start a new life in a new city. And another thing that I was so impressed by Fort Drum when we went to visit was how they do care for those spouses and family members when your loved ones are deployed. That is something that is so impressive to me, to make sure that those people don't feel alone. And as chair of the Committee on Veterans, Homeland Security, and Military Affairs, I'm honored to recognize not only the brave soldiers of the 10th Mountain Division, but also every service member and their family, and the entire Fort Drum community here today. I want to especially thank our Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, the Secretary of the Senate, Allie, and her amazing team for putting this together. Of course, Senator Walsick. Our teams have been talking late into the night, helping to put this event together. I think it's one of the biggest events that the Senate has every year, so thank you so much. And thank you for your service too, Senator Walsick. So I thank you to all my colleagues for making this day so special. I thank you to everyone who is here with us today. I proudly vote aye, and thank you all for your service.